if you can hear me, can you please mess? That was a really badass, because now I'm God. Right, I'm gonna start, and if I need to find out how to turn these off button. Yeah, I'll start in a few minutes and just the lag I'm getting from all the people. Yeah, we'll start in a few minutes. Right, I've sorted it. Right, give me. I'm gonna go grab a steak. You all go grab a beer. It's not as bad as you think. With you shortly.
appreciate that sub in chat. Appreciate that. I do appreciate that very much. Wow, okay, I'm gonna have to turn off. Let me turn off the chat window there, because there's too much going on. Way too much going on. There he is. There he is. We made it to the top. We got Ash here. Okay, so Ash, this is clearly been a pretty wild day for you. Yeah, pretty not good. I know a late night over there. You're probably about to go to bed, and all of a sudden all this stuff hits overseas over there. But let me turn you up a little bit, because apparently they can't hear you quite well. Give me a quick little audio test real quick. Can you say something for me? One more time. Oh, there we go. Say something now.
I'm running out of things to say. Yeah. Apparently they want it louder.
No, it's working.
Unbelievable.
It's working. It's working. It's working. I had something screwed up on my end. I did. Okay, so apparently, I mean, so tell us, give us a rundown of what exactly happened over the course of the last 2 hours. I guess this has been about a 2-hour debacle right now.
Well, I'd like to say that apologies for my voice. I have a cold, so I sound awful. However, first off, I'd like to say that literally no one on the team, apart from Shenna and Whitekidney and a few others who I still don't know, knew about the post online. So, obviously, I've been getting a lot of death threats recently and all this stuff, but
Hold on. Give me 1 second. Apparently they say they can't hear you. Apparently the sound got screwed. The chat is going way too fast. Hold on 1 second.
I can't.
Okay, sorry.
They can hear because I can hear it on the stream as well.
Okay. Give me 1 second here. I gotta find out how to turn off my notifications because I have never had to do this. Let me turn this off real quick.
Yeah, there is sound. Don't listen because I can hear myself. I can hear how full of the cold I am and sick.
Give me just 1 second. I'm gonna turn off my notifications anyway, just to fix this.
Hit a new. Currently, I have to say that.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about.
It's Norix, the fellow troll of Elysium.
Okay, I think that should be better. I think that should be better now. No, not better.
Right, can people hear me now?
Yeah, they can. I don't know why I'm getting some. I'm still getting the notifications and stuff. Give me just 1 second here while I fix this. Alert box.
But PITTEN new.
Give me just 1 second here. I don't know why it's not working. Streamlabs is going kind of slow for me.
I think people want you to turn off the songs.
Yeah, I'm trying to turn everything off, actually.
Jay, give me a, but PITTEN new.
Someone needs to pour salt on me at the minute. Jesus.
Okay, so apparently, I think this is as good as it's gonna get. I went and disabled everything, but it's I don't think it's working. Actually, I don't think.
Well, I can hear you on the stream, or I can hear myself on the stream.
Can you? Okay, we'll do this. I just muted every sound that's coming out of Discord, and or not out of Discord, out of the stream OBS. Can you hear yourself on the OBS still? You just heard your own voice?
See? No, it's really low. Really low.
Okay. So we're gonna fix this real quick. Um,
2 hours later.
I think it's fixed. Is that fixed? I think it's fixed. I think there's no more
check.
coming through. Yeah. There's no more coming through. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure.
There you go. Can they hear me?
Excellent. Excellent. Okay, yeah, they can hear you. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. So sorry, let's go ahead and start over here real quick now that we got everything rolling correctly. So obviously, like, it's been a pretty crappy 2 hours. I'm sure you're getting ready to go to bed. Give us a quick rundown, I guess, of what all exactly has happened on your end from your perspective over the last couple of hours.
Well, like I said, I got a cold, so I'm going to sound bad. However, if I mute myself accidentally, it's because I'm coughing my guts up. I'm just going to speak bluntly. None of the CM team, none of the GM team knew about this. And basically what you're reading on the stream is true. And Shenna and Krog were doing these things, and yet most of the staff weren't aware of it. Yeah, definitely. Quite a lot of us are quite annoyed about it. You know, I've spent myself personally, I've spent hours, as much as people know. I've spent hours in the game helping people, and you know, it's quite a bad effect for me as well. So yeah, I'm a bit annoyed about it, but at the end of the day, you guys kind of need to know what's going on. If I knew, I would have told you. If I knew, I would have probably not been part of the project. But now it's come to light, I have a better understanding of what happened. But yeah, so basically what you're reading is actually true. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. So pretty much everything on lightshope.org is in a nutshell. It's pretty much accurate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'll alliterate again that only a certain few people knew. Shenna, Krog, Whitekidney, 3 of them. I don't know who the other people are. They wouldn't tell me who knew. But yeah, I didn't know. None of the CM team knew, and none of the GM team knew. A couple of people have left. I haven't left because I just thought that I'd give you all the time to explain everything.
Right. So what can we expect as people who play on the server, people who play on Elysium, really the legacy community in general? What should the legacy community expect to happen within the next few days or weeks or however long?
Right. So what I've done is we were in a staff chat and there was a lot of drama happening and people being a bit immature, if I must say. So I basically raised my voice and said, look, we can either do this the mature way or, you know, I banned a few people that were being a bit annoying in staff chat because I just wanted to get it sorted. Basically, in short, Krog still has a copy of everyone's character. He still has the backups. So as for the server, we can turn it on. I've asked Shenna and Krog to make a statement of why they did it, which I can explain here as well, but I'm sure you'll ask that question in a bit.
Right. So Krog has the backups, you say. Krog has the backups, but Krog is one of the guys who is, I guess, has been benefiting off of the server?
Well, no. Okay, so Shenna took money for personal reasons, but not all of it. The money was spent on hardware. I know that for a fact. There was a bit of money left over, and it was taken by Shenna for personal reasons. I'm not sure of the whole story on that, but yeah, she had some personal issues and took money from it. Now, my stance on that is, you know, I wouldn't hate her so much because I don't want to take sides in this, and I don't agree with what they did. However, Shenna knows it was wrong, but at the same time, I kind of know that personal situations, you know, require you to do stupid things. And she took money, and what was I going to say? Yeah, she works about 14 to 16 hours a day on the server. I don't know if she wants me to say this, but she doesn't sleep. She pretty much does everything for the server. So in essence, it's not good what she did, keeping it a secret. However, the amount of time she spends on it, I can kind of, people like that, I mean, other servers do benefit from other servers do benefit from their in-game stores, and they do benefit from the money that they make off the servers, but they make it known. They have cash shops and they can pay developers so they don't get burnt out and they actually work on the project itself. Shenna just chose the wrong option, which was she's working 14 hours a day. She doesn't have time for anything else, and instead of telling people that she needs money to survive, and she's got some personal issues, she decided to hide it, which is a bad thing. But if people just understand and take a step back and think about it, it's swings and roundabouts, really. I mean, it's not good.
Right. No,
but
absolutely.
I mean, she went the wrong way about it, and she's fully admitted to all of the stuff now of what went on. Krog, for example, or Krog, he was involved with controlling the market on Elysium for gold selling. Now, he was selling stuff on the servers to make money. He never took money out of the donations at all. That was all of his own. And there are reasons behind it, and a few people won't understand is, yes, it's bad. However, it did control the gold selling quite a lot. All the spam you see is nothing to do with Krog at all. It's nothing to do with Krog. But he was doing it on the down low because of the amount of time they spend. And every bit of money that Krog spent was actually on the hardware.
Right.
What I will say on that is we are, apart from this, none of the staff get paid. I certainly don't get paid. None of the staff do get paid. And we are probably one of the poorest servers out there.
Despite being the biggest.
Yeah, but despite being the biggest, we have hardly any money. We paid for the hardware, and and we had about 200 euros left. It's nothing in comparison. But yeah, it was, all the donations were spent on hardware, and it is coming. We're waiting for the contract to end on Friday to renew it. So yeah, Krog didn't take any money from donations. In short, yeah, I think it's just a mess, really.
Okay, so our characters are fine, is what you're saying. Our characters are fine.
Oh yeah, your characters are fine.
Is there going to be any sort of rollback?
Slight rollback. Yeah, there'll be a rollback. There'll be a rollback, maximum of 12 hours. Probably less than that, hopefully. Yeah, it will be less than that. Less than that. So all the characters are safe. Krog has the backups of the system, so yeah, your characters are safe. Now, along with this announcement by Shenna and Krog, which I've asked them to do, and if they don't do it, I will leave the project. They're going to explain everything, probably more detail than I've explained.
Right. So, sorry, continue.
No, I forgot what I was going to say. Go on.
Well, I was just going to say, so now we have, do we have Elysium and we have Light's Hope, or is Light's Hope going to be its own thing and Elysium, the name is done? It's not Elysium anymore.
Light's Hope and Elysium are completely separate. Now, I just want to add that Whitekidney writing up this statement that he knew and I didn't know, and I think Whitekidney found out because he looked at all the logs on the system. Okay, which is fair enough. Now, I just want to say now that Whitekidney's watching anyway. However, I don't dislike Whitekidney for what he done. In fact, I'm pretty sure he's quite annoyed with what went on. I support Whitekidney. I support Shenna and Krog because as much as what they did, I understand why they just went the wrong way about it, and I understand why Whitekidney did it. But yeah, Light's Hope is completely separate from Elysium. My own view on it is purely that I think the problem with private servers at the minute is that everyone's split, everyone's against each other.
Right.
We're all working for the same cause to get a good vanilla server or a good server in general that won't be shut down.
Right.
Elysium won't be shut down. People have got C&D letters. People have got phone calls. You don't need to shut down. You just ignore it. That is said. The PayPal, I'll just go on to the PayPal now I remember. The PayPal isn't owned by Shenna as much as, people said that it was owned by Shenna. It wasn't owned by Shenna at all. It was owned by a friend. She had to ask if she wanted any money from it. So that was completely false, those rumors. Yeah, and it hasn't, and a lot of the drama that happened in February, a lot of it was overdone. It hasn't been constantly happening. Just want to get that out there because it's all out in the open now. So
Right. So you're saying it was basically two instances with the same person, like on separate occasions, is essentially what you're saying.
yeah. Now I want to say that as much as people are saying on that post that Akira was Shenna, that is true. Akira was Shenna. Purely because obviously the name is tarnished after such rumors went around, and I will add again that most of the rumors were untrue. Obviously the gold stuff wasn't untrue, but yeah, a lot of the rumors were untrue. However, Shenna still spent 14 to 16 hours a day sorting out the server, so she needed a character that was able to be in staff chat and in the public discourse, so she could keep an eye on things when servers were down.
Right.
That wasn't malicious at all. As for the all right thing, I don't know about that. I don't even know if that's true, to be honest.
Right. So you mentioned new hardware. You mentioned donations for the new hardware. You mentioned all this stuff. So you said the contract is up on Friday. So
Yeah, the contract's up on Friday. So basically, like I said, the money for the donations are going towards hardware. It's not as if Shenna, well, at the minute it's Krog that bought it. The 285, the MG 285, was bought with the donations, 100%. We're waiting for the contract to expire on Friday.
So we can expect the server lag to get better, basically, once the servers come back up, or
yeah, a bit better. I'll go in a bit more detail about that. Basically, at the moment, the lag on the servers is caused by memory leaks. The code is shocking. The code we received from the Starlius, as much as people say it didn't crash and all that sort of stuff, was because it wasn't perfect. Basically, the code that was, or the core that was received off Nostralis. We suffer from memory leaks. The memory gets high and the server crashes, and then we have to purge memory so the server can come back up again. The new hardware will help with that. So it will crash less. It will crash less, and it will lag less as well. It doesn't fully solve the situation because we need a development team that can sort out these problems at the core. That's where the money situation comes in, because
Right.
other private servers can pay developers to work on these things, and they get paid, so they actually do the job. Now, because we're volunteers and we have people like Staden, Parker, GemT, all that, you know who you are if you're watching anyway. They're all very good developers,
Right.
but people get burnt out. There's no motivation for them. They work on it and they work really hard on it, but they're volunteers and they don't get paid.
Right. So
whereas
in addition to their actual jobs and them having to basically support themselves, they're doing this for free. They're doing it as volunteer work. And then,
it doesn't excuse why money, but the money didn't go towards them. But what I'm saying is even Shenna taking money, if we're struggling that much to get things fixed because we're solely a volunteer project, then the best way to go about it for me would be to, if it was me in that situation, I'd have made a post saying, look, we can keep the server running, but if we want things done faster, then we need to pay professional, we have professional developers, but we need to pay a developer to work on a specific thing. To open up a shop for transfers, name changes, whatever, pets, things like that would have been a better option to say, we're going to use this money to pay a developer to work on these issues, and then the server lag will completely stop. They just chose not to.
Right. So Phoosy just came in here. Thanks for the sponsor, man. Appreciate that. He says Lights Hope Wow on Twitter is the official source for updated info about Lights Hope. And Ash mentioned this earlier too. For anybody who joined in afterwards, Ash is not speaking for. It's simply Q&A, but he's not 100% speaking on behalf of the whole team or anything. For us in our endeavor to move away from the Elysium Project brand, that's something that Phoosy wanted to get out there. I'm going to go ahead and hit Lights Hope Wow with a follow real quick. The 20th follower. How about that? So you guys might want to go follow them on Twitter. Follow that Twitter account. The hopes and dreams of those nostalgic for the past, looking forward to a bright future. How about that? Sounds pretty good.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, I don't speak for Lights Hope. And as Phoosy should know, I spoke to Whitekidney and we're absolutely fine. So there's no bad blood, so to speak. The only reason why I'm speaking here is because the community deserve to know the truth. That's the only reason why I'm doing this, and I am not defending what has happened.
So Zethra is asking, Zethra, appreciate the sponsorship, man. He's asking, concerning the duplicated characters rank 14, why did the community managers constantly censor the post on Reddit and in Discord instead of addressing player concerns? So Zethra is asking if there was some sort of, and that's not to say, this is just from my perspective, just because something's posted on Reddit, not all the community managers would see it before it gets deleted. But
okay, so basically what would happen was, obviously Krog's running with these rank 14s. That's something that he's selling, for example. Now you say community managers side with deleting the posts and that. Well, we deleted them because we honestly thought they were just troll posts. Now you've got people saying, these rank 14s are being sold, and the GMs can't tell what's happening. The only people that can tell what is happening are people with server access. Now those are system admins and people that, like I just said, had system access. So that was Shenna and Krog. Now Krog was doing those sort of things. So if we ask the question, are these being sold? The answer we're told is, no, we're not. So then we would hide the post. That doesn't mean we're in on it. We get told by the sysadmins or Shenna or anyone that has system access, no, they're not being sold. So we communicate to you, no, they're not.
Right.
Then the drama keeps happening, so we hide the post. Now that's what we're supposed to do. Doesn't mean that the community managers are in on it. We're just getting told false information.
You're basically just the middleman in that situation. It's
pretty much.
Don't shoot the messenger sort of deal. Okay, that was good. Let's see. Yeah, and that's, Zethro is following up with that, basically saying, why were they censored quickly and constantly? Just because it looks like, the community managers were just misinformed. They were being not told the truth, unfortunately. But as the messengers in the situation, they were basically, hey, that's not happening. Okay, well, you have to take it for what it's worth. That's what you're.
Well, I'll put it bluntly. With what happened in February with all these things going on, I didn't know that was true or not. We got told it wasn't. And it did stop, and it wasn't happening, and I wasn't aware of anything. However, when you come to it, and I go onto a Reddit post, for example, and I see people bringing up past drama, saying Alex Central said this, blah blah blah, whether or not he was right or wrong, which obviously this has come out, but I'd look at the thread and I would think, oh, these idiots are at it again. Now, unfortunately, I'm not trying to insult you or anyone, because we didn't know either. So all we saw was people trying to cause drama. So we would just lock it. That is purely why it was locked quickly, is because we couldn't be bothered with the drama. I have to respond to 100 whispers plus every couple of hours. I constantly get spammed. I constantly, I have never spoken to anyone about it, but constant death threats when the server goes down, God knows why. I've had people try and dox me, try and get real life information, and I've done nothing wrong at all. So when I came to these posts, I was just like, troll, delete. That's pretty much it.
Right. So David was asking, and Ash already answered this, but I do, we have a few people who've entered the chat or who've entered the stream since then. So maybe you want to clarify.
Can I answer one question quickly from Olas?
Yeah. Sure.
Right, you cannot make the donation goal public because not only do people dodge C and D letters, if you make donations public, it becomes a legal obligation to start accounting for that money. If you can't prove where the money came from, you start getting all sorts of people involved, which gives people a chance to shut us down. The only reason I've suggested the PayPal, but if you look into it legally, it is not viable to show any donation goals, how much we've got, what it's going on, and what we're aiming for. However, we were blunt in fact, I lie about that. We were showing what we were going to pay for, which was the hardware, but we can't show you a balance. We just can't, because that's on public image, and then you start getting people involved.
Right. So what David was asking, he was saying, Ash, why don't you side with Light's Hope? The community is likely to not go back to Elysium anymore, given the shadiness. So I know you said you weren't necessarily, if you just want to clarify your stance on that, just so people understand.
Everyone that knows me well, apart from me, and I will say, because someone from the guild will be in this chat, when I as much as I'm on the side of the community and I do make my mistakes, like getting drunk and making someone big in game, and they decide to get done teleported to GM Island for hacking, and that was my fault, and I delayed a raid. That was a mistake, but I do like having fun with you guys. Now, that is exactly what I do. Like, I've noticed a lot of community managers that don't go to places and, they interact with streams. Like, I constantly interact with Esfand here. I constantly go on to speak to Ryan's stream. I go on to other people's stream and watch. I go into raids and watch people. I don't say anything in game because I get reports against me, which I don't understand these days. But I do engage with the community a lot, a hell of a lot. Now, so my side on it is I will follow the community, right, depending on what was going. Now, there's two options, and what I will say now, there's two options. And I'll be blunt. Shenna and Krog, they fucked up. They massively fucked up, and a lot of us are really, really annoyed with them. Now, they're going to make a public apology and explain why they did it. Now, if that happens again, I will no longer be part of the project, if they're not open with it. Now, there's two sides. Elysium comes back online, and if they need money to fix things, or they need money for new hardware, and they are struggling because we're competing with other servers that actually openly have a shop, then we are forced to try and open a shop ourselves. We do not want to be pay to win. We don't want to charge people anything.
Right, absolutely.
But unfortunately, in this day and age, everything's about money. Now, it's very hard to run a server like Elysium without money. Now, donations do come in, and they do come in, but it's not near enough as what servers like Warmain have, where they are blatantly making a hell of a lot of money, and everyone on the staff are getting paid. And we're not, and it's a massive struggle, and it really is.
Right. So Jersey was asking, what happens to people with two-factor authorization?
They can easily be removed, to be quite honest. As much as people do wait for the 2FA, it's because behind the scenes it's with volunteers, and I know I bring up volunteers and everyone goes, oh, it's the volunteer excuse, but it's not. I mean, every ban appeal, every 2FA removal has to be checked that someone's not trying to hack someone again, or a friend is trying to get someone into someone's account, which does happen. Especially ban appeals. Ban appeals are even worse. They're a nightmare. We have to check everything.
Right.
It's a long process, but it does get done by volunteers at different times. So yeah.
Right.
It's just a nightmare.
So Liam was asking. He says he tried to help with development and he never got a message back. And there's only so much he feels like he can contribute through GitHub. Is there any way for people to contribute to the development team? Like how can people get involved?
Development team is quite easy actually. If you're a good developer, you go onto the GitHub. If you pull a GitHub request and you fix the issue with coding or whatever, programming, whatever you want to do. Hold on. Yeah, if you want to fix the if you fix things basically and it gets approved and it constantly gets approved, you start getting a reputation of this guy, for example, Parker, the one that does the development, the uploads for the main site. He was just fixing things constantly. Like, it was unbelievable how fast he was, and that's how you get on the team. So then we'll approach you and say, you know, you're doing a really good job. Do you want to join the development team? It's a complete open source project, so anyone can fix things if they want to or if they can. The way you get onto the team, you know, just does it. And I don't know why Jakira's saying this. Me and Jakira have spoken loads, but I don't mind speaking to her.
But let's see what else we got. So Al was asking a real simple question: when can we expect servers to be back online? When can we expect to play Vanilla WoW again?
A good question. I can ask now.
Okay, well, we can come back to that one. Olas was asking. Oh man, there's a lot of messages. We gotta start moving a little bit quicker. Man, a lot of questions. Okay, we're gonna get moving a little bit quicker here, so we can get through sponsor chat and maybe open it up to the non-sponsors. I just wanted to give the sponsors, people who had been here, people who had been involved in the channel, their opportunity to ask any questions that they might have first. And again, a lot of new sponsors wasn't expecting that actually, so thank you guys. But Olas was asking about changing the name from Elysium to Light's Hope. Do you think it's going to damage Elysium's popularity or anything because people already know about Elysium, or do you think it's going to help maybe because Elysium is, Elysium is corrupt, sort of meme, I guess that's gone around over however many months.
Will it damage population? Yeah, of course it will. I mean, like they said, you lied to once, it happened before, and then lied to again. People are a bit annoyed, and they're going to be annoyed. And I fully support that decision. It's one of those things. No one likes being lied to. Yeah. So yeah, it's going to damage it. But the only thing that Elysium can offer at the minute is they make their apologies. They make a statement about why, everything. They explain absolutely everything. If they don't, people will just leave. It will be the end of the project. So I don't know. Yeah, it's going to be a mess. But then at the same time, I don't believe in splitting two communities up again.
Right.
Like, people go to Light's Hope, people will stay on Elysium. Splitting people up completely destroys having, one vanilla server, which is completely,
Yeah, it just totally ruins the whole thing.
And to be honest, I know it's hard to give other people chances, and I mean, I'm on no one's side here, but it depends on what, if everyone transferred to Light's Hope, I'd be okay, fair enough. If everyone stayed on Elysium, I'd be like exactly the same, fair enough.
Right.
But having a split community for me, no, I don't know. To be honest, I'd probably stop being a community manager.
Right.
As
of right now, is it expected that the Elysium is going to continue and then Light's Hope is going to be its own thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not going to say stay with Elysium. I'm waiting personally myself to see what Shenna and Krog have to say. Now, as soon as that happened, as you know, Esfand, I rang Shenna on their phones, and I rang Krog on his phone and said, "What the hell's going on?"
Right.
You know, and I'm going to wait for their announcement, and I'm going to personally read it because I don't know everything either. I don't know the full story. I know why they did it, but you know, they might have some more information. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see if they come up with something, and then they openly say, and then if they are struggling with money, that a shop opens. You know, I'd probably be like, okay, fair enough. You're one step in the right direction. You're actually doing the right way of saying we actually need money.
Right.
Just going to go on to Jakira's comment. She's going on about me saying about hold on. Going on about staff IPs. Yes, I have access to the server on the forums, and yes, I can see IPs. Now, if people like Jakira, who is a GM or was a GM of Elysium, say that I was releasing IPs, no, I wasn't. I can release the screenshot of me telling you, please change your IP or get a VPN because it is more secure. Now, it's entirely up to Jakira if she wants to keep on spreading rumors like that, but I have the entire chat log of me telling you, please get a VPN because you'll be safer with one. This is your IP at the minute. I know whereabouts you're from. Please get a VPN. Now, I didn't just say that to you. I said that to quite a few staff that didn't use VPNs. Now, that was me trying to protect you, as I have a phone call trying to stop me from doing all the community manager stuff on Elysium.
Right.
Why would I read off IPs? I didn't read off IPs to you or anyone while people were in the chat. I read off the IP to you personally in your private messages and then deleted the messages afterwards. But I'll move on to the next question because me and Jakira always spoke. We were in chat and we got along very well. Now this has happened, she's decided, yes, of course I pulled your IPs. I pulled your IP address because you didn't have a VPN. And as Elysium staff, I'm trying to protect you from not getting doxxed and from your location being shown. But obviously, doing you a favor is not a good thing.
Right. So,
anyway, on to the next question.
Yeah. Is there any plans for I guess improved communication to the community going forward? Like any or as I mean that's probably something that hasn't even really been thought of yet. I mean, there's so much going on right now that's probably on the back burner, but I don't know. It's have you guys thought of anything yet?
Yeah, well, going forward, I mean, like I said, two options. Two options really is you either accept Krog and Jenna's apology or you don't. There's Elysium or there's Light's Hope. I hope that people stay with Elysium because as much as it's a bit of bullshit of what happened and it was a bit secretive, a lot of people worked very hard on it. But then you have got some good people that went to Light's Hope as well. Right. Not gonna lie, because I don't have any grudges against any of the team that went to Light's Hope or the team that went to Elysium. The majority stayed at Elysium. You got people like Whitekidney that are absolutely brilliant and they spend ages on the server and looking after it. But then as much as you say that, Krog and Shenna spend, if not more time on it, but they just needed funds basically.
Right. So you were saying before that Krog has a backup of all the characters of the server, and then Whitekidneys also has a backup. Is that right? Or
yeah. Krog has a backup.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's two backups basically. Nera was asking, characters and accounts are safe, but Krog has the backup. Krog has the backup. But so there's two backups right now that are out there, is essentially it. So Krog doesn't have the only backup. Okay.
Yeah, Krog and Whitekidney have backups. So basically, there's two copies of Elysium, which again I don't agree with because it's the whole thing about splitting the community.
Yeah.
We need to. I mean, it is crap what happened, and it is bullshit, and I get it. I'm annoyed about it, and I get a lot of the staff are annoyed about it. But splitting a community, is unbelievable. Now, all Shenna and Krog need to do is be honest now. The donations did go towards something. Krog didn't touch the donations. He was just selling things because, it's real life. You can't just sit there and spend 16 hours a day on a game that everyone plays and have a job at the same time. So, yeah, you can imagine. That's why other servers do it. Other servers do it as well. They can't afford to live with how much time they spend, so they open up a shop. And then brings back to the thing of keeping it a secret was probably the worst thing they could do.
Right. So let's see what else we got here. So why not make a store shop like Warman? I know he said earlier that you don't want the server to be pay to win necessarily, but why not add a shop to where you can do name changes or I don't know, race changes, stuff like that, as opposed
I think that's probably what's gonna have to happen. I mean, depending on what happens, yeah, probably have to do that. I mean, even the copies of Elysium that other people have got, there's a lot of work that needs to be done on the core. So the server, for example, and I'm not bringing Lights Hope down here at all in the slightest. They've got the exact same copy. It means they're still going to suffer from what we suffer with, or have been suffering with. It needs to be fixed. Now, if we open up a store, which means we can get some donation money or some money from purchases, which means we can pay for a developer, which can get all the problems fixed, then that's probably a way that everything would get sorted quite fast. So yeah, I personally, I would, in their situation, is come out with this post explaining why, and then fairly and openly come up with a way to get those donations to keep the server pristine, but not ask. Personally, I would say, because no one wants to really profit off it, is to, once you've reached a certain donation goal, that we completely stop donations. So, right. Say if it's 2,000, we get up to 2,000, and then no one can donate again.
Right.
Instead of hoarding money like other servers do. Because that's a bad way. Which team will Shenna and Krog be on? Elysium. They won't go to Lights Hope because Lights Hope are basically the team that left because they didn't like being lied to. What's to stop Shenna and Krog from doing this again? Nothing. However, if they do it again, I will no longer be part of the team. Because you can fool people once and twice, but this time they're actually going public with it.
Yeah.
By the time you hit third, I don't think they will, because I could hear Shenna and she sounded upset. She was really disappointed with herself, and they opened up about it. Right. Now, like I just said, it was a bad decision by them, a massive, stupid decision to keep it a secret, when all they needed to do was really open up a shop and get money that way so they could actually get things rolling.
Right. So, if people were banned for saying that GMs were selling golden items, and since it turned out being true, can they get unbanned now? Like, what are the process that they can? What's the process that they can go through to get unbanned?
Well, that's something we'd have to suggest, to be honest.
Yeah,
and try and
maybe
maybe purge people that were, gold selling, not the mules or sites like Nost 100 or whatever the bloody hell it is, but people that bought it, maybe.
Right. So Manlet was asking, if you were a current player with no ties to the staff, which server would you pick? I guess that's just a random question or a random statement, but one that spawned rank 14s to sell them, then censored our concerns, or one that's trying to break away from the shadiness, is what Manlet was saying.
Well, I get the point of breaking away from the shadiness, and I really do. Unfortunately, with what I know, I would stay with Elysium. Purely because I know how much time people spend on it, and they've poured their heart and soul into it. So,
right.
Yeah, I including myself, to be honest.
Right. So Dan Canton was saying, just for clarification, everybody's gonna have their character on 2 servers now, right? Elysium PvP and Light's Hope.
Yeah, yeah.
And
By
they,
the looks of it, anyway.
and they can just use their same name and password to log in to both servers.
Don't know that yet. I don't have any idea about Light's Hope login or anything like that.
Right. Right. Let me see. There's a lot of extraneous chat going on right now. I wanna.
A lot of people in Discord, blah blah blah. Nerf farming. No, nerf farming spots was purely because of the actual gold sellers. I say the actual gold sellers. The Chinese farmers.
Right.
There we go. I said it.
PR on Discord.
China.
PR on Discord was saying that he's willing to fund, I guess, the entire project if it's willing to get everything rolling correctly, is what Ola says. So whoever PR is on Discord, possibly you should probably reach out to Ash and talk to Ash about that. Ash, if you have anything to say about that.
What did he say? Sorry.
He says he's willing to fund the entire thing for vanilla, be able to like donate or whatever he needs to do, I guess. PR on Discord, whoever that is, said he I don't know, I guess he said he was willing to do that. So PR, you might want to reach out to Ash on Discord.
Yeah, do that.
Let me try and get through these questions. Who's going to be leading Light's Hope and who's going to be leading Elysium?
Who's going to be leading Elysium?
Like the lead dev, excuse me, for Elysium and Light's Hope.
Light's Hope don't know. Whitekidney is main server admin, so he'll deal with that. That's the problem. We've still got a lot of developers at Elysium now. Just a few have left for Light's Hope, but I'm sure they can recruit more. But at the minute, there's still a big team. In fact, I can show you now if you open up your Discord. Obviously, don't show it, but you can see how many staff we've still got. And there you go. Developers are purple.
Let's see.
So, yeah.
Okay. So this is what Ash just sent me. Let's load up this picture. So this is the current Elysium staff, or you got Britannia, Cool Modi, Darbon, Dark Rasp, Guybrush, Shenna, Staden, the Parker, and Zavarius are the devs for Elysium right now. Is that right?
Yeah.
So then none of these people will be going over to Light's Hope.
Shouldn't be, no.
So with Light's Hope, basically Light's Hope, you have a backup of the server, but you don't really have any devs yet. I'm saying you, but I mean I'm talking about the server. Is that right?
Yeah. So basically, all that stuff should stay.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. There's not many that's left for Light's Hope, and I'm not bringing them down. But Elysium isn't going to run. Elysium isn't going to run, or Light's Hope isn't going to run without a lot of people, especially with the lag and the server issues. So, in my personal view, and you know, Whitekidney knows I like him. You know. Yeah, Whitekidney, as much as I like him, and he did it for very good reasons, it's not going to solve the issues splitting the community, especially if you get more than 4,000 people on the server. It is still going to crash.
Right.
And they're still going to need donations.
So now you've basically got the resource, not just the community, but the resources and everything else that's being poured into this one server right now being split up into 2 separate servers. So I mean, you could end up having 2 servers that are not as good as they could be. is essentially
pretty much.
what could potentially happen.
It's not gonna fit. It's not gonna fix itself. I mean, you're gonna need a lot of developers to fix what's wrong with the threading issues that cause the lag. A lot of devs.
Right.
No, we have a lot of devs, but at the same time, we still got to fix other things.
Right.
We've still got to fix the other issues.
This is a pretty funny question. Is this why they nerfed farming spots so that people would buy more gold? Guy.
I actually answered that one, but I'll say it again. No.
Yeah.
It was to stop the actual Chinese farmers, and yes, I said Chinese farmers. I went ahead and said it,
There you go.
but it was to stop the actual farmers, because there was a lot of people in there making money and then selling it and hacking people's accounts and being mules for them.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try opening the chat up to non-sponsors now, and let's see how far this goes before I might have to turn it off just to be able to read questions. But Pit and New, I still don't know what that means, but there you go, Olas.
I'd just like to say the people spamming that I'm lying, hopefully they're joking, because clearly I had no idea what was going on earlier. Like I said, I had to ring Shenna and Krog to ask what was going on, and I'm sure people will back me up and say that I had no idea. I mean, to be honest, I'm a bit upset being lied to, and the only reason why I'm in the stream is purely because you guys need to know. Now, I don't have to be sat here speaking at 10 to 1 in the morning when I've got work at 6 a.m. I'm purely doing it so you know. That is it. So people can be mad, people can still send death threats. I had nothing to do with it. I'll never have anything to do with that. I wish I was getting paid for it. I have a very well paid job, which I have to be up to at in 5 hours. Yeah, I'm speaking to you guys,
right?
And it's purely just so you all know the score.
Right. So security asks a really good question. What is to stop people from selling their accounts in the server they don't play on if everything is just duplicated? Because it really, at the end of the day, just fuels account selling more. Because if somebody just wants to start playing WoW right away, what's to stop? For example, what's to stop Esfand from being like, hey, geared ret paladin, want to sell my account on Light's Hope or on Elysium for somebody else to play on because they don't want to level up and they want to get all that gear.
To be honest, practice what you preach. I honestly think now that they have Krog, who actually did it, something's going to be done to say selling their account. Are we going to have to allow it? I don't know. Maybe. I'm not speaking purely for Elysium here. I'm just saying that if Krog was selling characters and people sell their characters, should they get banned for it? Probably not now. Not after this. No, they shouldn't be banned. Because then it completely contradicts what they said.
Right.
I like that comment. Ash is on the scam with Krog and Shanna. Yes.
There's another
I
good
love
one
it.
in here. Let me see if I can find it again. There's another really good one in here.
You say how much faith do I have in Shanna and Krog? I don't. I have faith in that they'll do the right thing this time. I am pretty pissed off that they lied, especially to me, because there's only a few, as you can see in the text on Esfand stream now, with my name on it. There's only 8 leads of the project, and I'm one of them. And now you would think if I was in on anything, I would know, but I know as much as I'll say it, people still won't believe me. But I honestly did not have an absolute clue. Now, that's how high it was, that's how much it was guarded, the secret, because I didn't know. I had no idea. And there's only 6 of us, and one of them's from Crestfall. So you could say 5 of us. And I didn't have a clue.
Right. So this is from my perspective here. It seems like Light's Hope doesn't really have. I mean, you've got the server, you've got a copy of Elysium, which is going to be called Light's Hope, but there's nothing to fuel it really, as far as like a dev team or anything goes. That's not to say that they can't put one together. but wouldn't it be easier to just keep the whole thing rolling together as one big community if Krog and Shenna were removed from the team or were to step down?
Yeah, pretty much. That's an option, but I don't think they will. Purely, like I said before, because of the amount of time Shenna spends on it. Now, I don't know if you know this, and apologies, Shenna, but, you know, she's had people go to her house before, you know, and threaten her. And she, like I said, spends 16 hours a day, so yeah, she has a lot of passion for the project, and as much as you can hate Shenna for what was happened or what did happen, she's been through a lot of shit for the actual server itself, and she spends a lot of time on it. So as much as people say we hate Shenna, blah blah blah, I will never say that she didn't work for the project or she wasn't focused on it, because it's all she ever did.
Right.
And that's the only reason why I would say, if you're honest about it, then maybe I'll stay as lead community manager.
Right. And not to turn this into like a Shenna bash fest or anything, but like I just think that if something is so important to somebody, then they should not be doing things that could potentially ruin it for them and for a lot of other people. I don't know. And I mean, of course, like you said, like she was Shenna before, then she became Akira and kind of was working undercover because of all the backlash from Shenna even existing. But as part of the dev team or whatever. But I don't know. I think this whole deal kind of sucks, and I do think the best thing for the community would be if she were to step down or were to move out or something. Unfortunately, for her, unfortunately. But I don't know. So Lights Hope. Let me recap this, because I keep seeing the same questions over and over again. There's no specific, and correct me if I'm wrong, there's no specific time frame for the servers coming back up. Is that right?
I've just asked Krog now. He's what did he say? He's checking it now.
Okay, so they're looking at, or Ash is looking to see how long it might take for the servers to come back up.
People are asking, is the new hardware on Lights Hope? I don't know. The new hardware was bought for Elysium, so they're going to have to pay for it separately.
Okay, so I guess Lights Hope says on Twitter that they're going to be up in the next 24 to 48 hours.
Okay.
Then the other thing is, the other question they kept asking, I totally just brain fart, totally went blank. Lights Hope is Lights Hope going to be a fresh server? No, it's not. Lights Hope is not going to be a fresh server. It's going to be a copy of Elysium in its current state. Like right now, October 16th, 2017. That's, as far as I know, that's when the backup. It's a backup from today that Lights Hope is starting on. So, again, from what it sounds like is you've got these two servers, which are the exact same server. You've got Lights Hope and Elysium, the exact same server, but with different dev teams. Whenever they get back up and rolling. As far as the new hardware goes, is it going to be on Lights Hope or is it going to be on Elysium? I think that's a big deal. I do think that's a big deal because a lot of people have been waiting around for to see where the new hardware goes.
New hardware is definitely on Elysium.
So new hardware is going to be on Elysium. And this is the issue now. So you've got Elysium where, for a lot of people, Krog and Shenna have kind of tarnished Elysium's name, and then you have Lights Hope, which doesn't have as experienced of a dev team, as experienced of leadership, but they're kind of like the I don't know. They're kind of like the they're trying to fight the man here, which is cool, which is awesome. I mean, that's how it looks like it's rolling. But I don't know. I don't know. This whole thing has just been kind of insane. Like you said, you have to be up in about 5 hours to go to work. I was fixing my computer, trying to get my computer's been broken the whole week. I was trying to get my computer fixed, and then turns out the server gets shut down immediately.
Yeah. Well, people are saying about transparency. Yeah. As you know, I spend a lot of time with the community. If I knew half of this information, I would have told you. If we knew most of the information, you'd have been told. Everything that I know, I make sure that it comes out. Things like patches, we didn't know what time it was going to be up because we were having some problems with the server. Now, if I had to announce everything that was going on, I'd literally have no time to do anything. So, yeah, some things are kept quiet purely because people don't have time to say everything.
Right. And,
but yeah, no.
Yeah, it looks like going forward, I mean, the transparency and the communication between the staff and the community and everything is going to improve. It does need to improve. So Slade was asking when Elysium is going to be back up, and Ash is Krog is actually figuring that out, and he's going to tell Ash. I don't know, and it would be interesting. It would be interesting to hear from some of the Lights Hope people as well, Whitekidneys or something. If we can, if I can get a chance to talk to him or something, that would be pretty cool. But let me see. Sorry about that. I had to fix something on my computer. So, yeah. See, Olas, that's what I was talking about. I think I'm gonna put it back into sponsor only mode for a second, so I can read some questions. I'm sorry about that, guys. I'm trying to read things, and it keeps like refreshing. So I'm trying to get back to it. So is there an actual explanation as to why they can't get rid of Krog and Shenna? And I think a lot of people understand that they put so much into the server and all this stuff, but at the end of the day, if them being around is going to split the community in two, then I guess whose decision is that? Who makes the final say on that call?
Shenna and Krog.
Really, if they so it's really up to them whether or not they want to be involved. It's not up to anybody else.
I suppose the community, but yeah, Shenna doesn't want to let go, and I don't blame her because 16 hours a day for quite a long time.
Right.
Yeah. And and obviously Krog does all the server stuff. He's lead sysadmin, so yeah. Sorry, I'm getting tired now. Talking hurts.
No, so it looks like a lot of the we're gonna close it out here in a moment. What server am I thinking about playing on? It's hard to say right now, guys. It's hard to say right now. I think it's gonna be a guild thing for me. That's what it's gonna come down to. It's gonna come down to what server my guild wants to play on. I think you've essentially got a little bit of a race going on to see who can get their server up fastest. But for me personally, it's gonna be whatever my guild decides. You know, I think I guess I didn't 100% lay out my opinion, but just off the cuff, what I'm seeing now is that Elysium has a more experienced and I guess a laid out dev team right now with not a good track record, as we've seen. That's why we're all here right now, unfortunately. And then You have the Lights Hope group, which does have a paladin name, so I mean that's 1 point for them. And you basically have this crew that's like, hey, like we want to do this without any sort of corruption or whatever else has been going on over the course of however long. So, and they don't really have a set dev team right now, as far as I know. So maybe we can talk to Whitekidney and see what's going on with him in the future.
Yeah. I'd speak to Whitekidney. Yeah. Personally, it's shit to be lied to once. It's shittier to be lied to twice. Personally, I understand why Whitekidney did it. I actually really like Whitekidney.
He's a good guy.
He is a very good guy. I have no problem with anyone. Phoosy's my little angry cat. Love him. You know, everyone that left, I get along with. So
right.
I like them all. That's all I'm going to say. I like people on Elysium. I like everyone on Lights Hope. But at the end of the day, it is shit to be lied to. But for the time spent, for me personally, and I know after this announcement, hopefully, I'll see how it goes, pretty much, from my understanding. I could understand why Shenna did it. I understand why Krog did it. I think they need to be a bit more honest about it. If they need money, then do the shop thing. Don't hide it. But yeah, just so much time on it. So I think dividing the community is a really bad move. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's going to achieve nothing. We have the developers. We have the support staff. We still have some of the communication staff. And I understand why we lost staff, purely because they don't like being lied to. I don't like being lied to. And if I do choose to stay with Elysium, if they lie again, then I'll be probably quitting as a community manager, to be fair.
Right.
Just focus on playing Fortnite, which someone said in your stream earlier.
Yeah,
they said, he's on this playing Fortnite. I said, I've got it up. I was playing Fortnite. It's loaded on in the background, but I haven't had any chance to play it because I've been dealing with this lot. Right. I was literally playing Fortnite, and I literally went back. I tabbed to Discord, and I had like a million, like you can see from the PMs, like from that screenshot I showed you, just a line of people. I was like, what the hell's going on here? It's not even that bad when the server crashes. Like when the server crashes, I get about 10. This is like a complete line that I couldn't scroll down. I was like, oh, what's going on? Yeah. And then every single one had the Lights Hope link linked in the PM. And I was just like, oh God, what's going on here? My first initial thing was, I don't know because we were in voice chat before the stream. And I literally, the first thing was, okay, Krog or Shenna or Whitekidney's been hacked. So I immediately rang. The call, and I rang Shenna, and Shenna's like, oh, I've just got out of bed. And I was like, well, you need to get here because something's happening. I literally had no clue whatsoever. So yeah, and now I do. And I only found out because I posted in the general Discord that I didn't know what was going on. It was till after a meeting where Shenna and Krog turned up and admitted to everything. So so they're going to do an announcement on it. Like I said, I kicked people from the staff purely because they were being immature in chat, and I was literally like, right, can everyone just shut up and just be mature? Shenna, Krog, tell what you've got to say, and then we'll sort it out from there. So yeah, that's what happened.
Right. Yeah, so I mean, just one last question here. I know you gotta get to bed. You gotta be up in less than 5 hours for work. So Slade was asking, I guess, what happens in a year when they need more money and those site buyers wanting to buy the server info look more appetizing? Like, do we just go along with it till it breaks?
Site info, that'll never happen. I mean, the IPs from people are completely safe. I mean, like you probably know already, I have access to the IPs. They do not get released. Things like selling the online accounts of people, that does not happen. Your passwords are completely safe. You're safe. Nothing like that happens. I know that for a fact. I can still see the logs myself. That doesn't happen.
Right.
They didn't stoop that low, put it that way. As you know, what happened with a certain individual that sold people's characters' account names and passwords. That's stooping really low. And if they had done that, I would have left the project straight there and then. But this was something else. So
Right. And I believe, not to say that they haven't gotten approached to sell like other info, but not like the IPs and stuff like that is safe. You said. Is that right?
oh yeah, no, nothing like that's happened.
Right. Right. So I mean, I'm gonna let you go, cause you need some rest. You've been up way too late, dealing with all this stuff right before going to bed. So I'm gonna let you go, and I don't know. I'm gonna talk to Whitekidneys, see what Whitekidneys has to say. Yeah, I'm gonna talk to Whitekidneys, and we might get Whitekidney on the line. We might get Whitekidney on the line and talk to him a little bit later. Want to go ahead and thank all you guys for joining in. Obviously, this is a pretty rough time for all of us, trying to figure out what's going on and dealing with all this drama. Thank you to all the sponsors. I honestly I wasn't expecting to have a bunch of people sponsor. More so, I put it in sponsor mode just to have people who already sponsored get first opportunity getting their questions asked. But Liam, Al, Sladex, Grant, Jakira, Kayla, Manlet, Tim's Addict, John Hamill, and 17WRX. I do appreciate you guys sponsoring. Yeah, thank you guys for being here. I mean, I'm obviously everybody's a little bit upset. I'm upset. I mean, crap. You guys know how much I put into my character and this channel and everything.
I'm pissed off.
Elysium.
I've had to deal with all the rees for about 4 months straight.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So, anyway, Ash, I guess we'll see you later, man. And
Pit and you. I had to say it again.
yeah. But
that's my impression.
God, I don't even know what it is.
I don't know what it is, but whatever.
Yeah, whatever. So I'm gonna take it out of sponsor mode here. So Whitekidney tells me he's getting DDoSed. Oh, hold on.
Yes, everyone likes my re-impression. It's great, isn't it? Yeah, but yeah, if there's not a good explanation, then yeah, probably I'll see you around. I mean, I'm still on Discord, so people can still message me. Obviously, I'm in Esfand's Discord, so I'm not going to go anywhere. You can still get hold of me and everything like that, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
if it doesn't go the way I want,
by the way.
yeah, if it doesn't go the way I want, then I'll still be in Esfand's Discord. I'll still be in Speak to Ryan's Discord. I'll probably quit being a community manager. It was good. I started off as a most valuable player and worked my way up to one of the leads of the project. Mm-hmm. And you know, that's through 6 months. So it's not as if I haven't done anything and haven't wasted time like you have. I know you get a lot of time to play. I don't, but I've spent a lot more time dealing with people and helping people out as much as I can. So yeah, it's really annoying for me as well. So don't think yeah, I'll stop sucking my own dick, as Ostel said. Yeah. It's
right,
massive. It's my dick is massive. Honestly, I could suck for hours. Hours.
All right. I'm gonna get actually Whitekidney and Phoosy are actually gonna get in here. So we'll let you go, Ash. I'm sure I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah, will do. Catch you in a bit.
All right. See you later. All right. Let me call up Whitekidney and Phoosy here. Can I? How do I do this? There you go. Phoosy, what's up, man? Let me add Whitekidney as well. I think I screwed this up.
Yeah, you did it to my DM. If you add someone now, it'll make a new DM for everyone.
Let's do this.
Also, yeah, everyone gets to hear how much of a fucking nerd I am. I apologize.
It's gonna work. Frick, it didn't work. I don't know how to. I don't know how to Discord.
There, I got it.
Yeah, you had him. Thanks.
Well, add me as friend first. That should help.
Oh,
it.
my bad.
Also, yes, lights hype, everyone.
Lights hyped. Lights hyped.
Hang on, I'll reform and see if it'll let me do it this way, because I don't know why it's been kind of weird.
Okay. So guys, what's gonna happen is we're about to get in call with Phoosy and Whitekidney, and should start here shortly. Should start here soon. So this is the question that this is my opinion on the deal. I guess while they get everything sorted out and maybe we can join call
on my phone because I'm being DDoSed again.
That's okay.
There we go. Sweet. I can hear you guys.
For the record, if anyone's happened to be watching and if anyone's participating in any sort of retribution or anything like that,
yeah,
please
Rep Prio. Oh, my bad.
No, wrong Red. This is the bad Red Prio.
I got confused.
Yeah, if anyone thinks it's appropriate to do any of that for any involved parties, whether it's Lights Hope or Elysium Project or Shanna Krog or Whitekidney, anyone, you need to get your priorities in line. It's ridiculous.
Right. I think the first thing that we should do is to correct some of the misinformation that Ash spread. I don't know if he was doing it intentionally or if he was just misinformed. But as far as I know, and I've been shown screenshots of this as well, I think approximately 80% of the Elysium staff has left. At least they have left the staff Discord, and a majority of the honest and hardworking staff members have joined us. We're currently in the process of getting everything set up. I think there's one thing that we didn't make clear to the players is that there's not going to be any rollback on when we relaunch. We did do a fresh backup of all servers approximately 30 minutes before we wiped them. So there's not going to be any rollback whenever we get back on our feet.
Okay. So you pretty much have a copy of the server as it is today.
Yeah. Okay. 30 minutes before we initiated the wipe, we transferred all the backups across. I've been talking to Kroggy. I know they have perhaps 6 weeks to like 3 months old backups. So there's going to be, from what I know, there might be significant rollback on Elysium as it is today.
And to keep in mind, when we talk about Elysium, the project, we will just refer to it as Elysium. But if we're talking about Elysium, the realm, we're actually going to be keeping the name for compatibility's sake, because having everyone have to redo all their add-ons and stuff is just a major pain in the rear. Right. So if we're talking about Elysium, the project, we're going to say just Elysium. But if we're talking about the realm, we'll specifically say Elysium PvP, just to make sure everyone has that clear.
Okay.
Right. We did this with the community in mind, with all the staff members that have spent hours and hours, on this project. We're basically planning on doing a one-to-one relaunch. That's our initial plan. What we do down the line, we haven't discussed anything like that. This has been in the working for some time. We have tried to plan this out very carefully. And I think going forward, we're going to be a lot more transparent with our player base. We're going to involve, or rather try to involve, the player base a lot more in our decisions. And we're just simply going to try to be the better project, that's all.
Right. So do you guys not think that, and this is something that came up whenever I was talking to Ash, and this is what I personally believe as well, splitting up the two groups, splitting up the two servers into two separate communities is not a good scenario, because what could essentially happen is you have two servers that aren't quite as good as they should be, or not even two servers, two server sets, because Lights Hope is going to be one server, which is the copy of Elysium as it was today, right?
Mhm.
And then you have the Elysium
we
project, which, and I think Anathema and Darrowshire are just kind of being disregarded in this whole thing.
No, not at all. In fact, I'd like to stress entirely, and I kind of want to correct the record for a second. We may even consider renaming Darrowshire and Anathema back to Nostalrius PvE or PvP or something along those lines, so that we can kind of pay homage to where we came from. So just to make that clear as well. But also, we want to make sure that everyone is treated the same when it comes to them choosing which project they want to come to, whether they stay with the Elysium project or come here. As far as we're concerned, Anathema, Darrowshire, and Elysium, all players from all realms are considered equal, and we respect them, we appreciate them, we appreciate the efforts they put in on both the Elysium project and if they decide to come with us. That's the most important part we want to get across, is that there is no structuring of, hey, one server's better than the other, one server has more priority than the other. As a matter of fact, unfortunately, because of the way the population sizes are skewed, and Whitekidney can correct the record on this one for sure, Elysium might be the first server to go up, just because we need to make sure that the hardware is able to handle the massive amount of people that are going to be hopping onto it at the same time, I imagine. But if that's not the case, we may end up getting Elysium or Darrowshire and Anathema up first, because they have a lesser hardware requirement to get initially kicked off and going.
Okay.
Yeah, as you guys know, renting the hardware is not exactly cheap. I think for the current server that Elysium was running on was something along, €300 a month. And we recently migrated Darrowshire and Anathema to a smaller server because the population had decreased, and we basically did that to save money. Some people were questioning why we needed more money when we had less players, and the reason for that is Crestfall. They had a ludicrous way of developing stuff. They basically wanted 8 virtual machines, basically one virtual machine for each developer, so they could do their own testing and stuff like that. The honest staff members always worked really hard on getting the costs down and trying to promote transparency and all of that, but we were constantly getting shot down by the two involved.
So wouldn't it be better for the whole situation though if they just were removed? They just left.
We can't.
No,
it's not even. It really isn't that simple. So
right.
just to give some perspective on that one, and we posted this in the announcement thing. The Krog and Shenna. Well, Krog to an extent probably we could have just said, hey, you need to go, but ultimately it may not have mattered anyway. We didn't have control of the server. We didn't have control of the PayPal, so those were out of anyone who would have been totally against Krog and Shenna being involved with the project at all. No one had any control over that. So if they decided, now we're not going to leave, we're going to stay, they own essentially what makes the project exist.
Now, I don't think they have been transparent enough in who actually owns the project.
Oh, that too. That is also the other issue.
I'm not going to try and dox anyone, but Vitaly and or his wife is in charge of the OVH account and the PayPal, and Shenna basically has full access to that PayPal, which is she's been taking money off of it.
Right. Which is where the whole issue stems from, right?
Absolutely. We can't remove these core people when their best friends are basically owning the hardware, owning the funds that are going in and out. And I have spent a lot of time trying to, figure out how much money is actually going into the PayPal. Shenna told me she took like $3,000 from it for private reasons. I know for a fact that if that money was not removed from the account, we would not have to. I don't know. Kroggy's argument is that he kept the server alive by selling these types of characters and golds. I don't think that's the case. I don't think he was keeping the server alive. But that's just my opinion. I haven't seen the complete details of the PayPal and the invoices and stuff like that. But I don't think they would have to resort to that type of activities to keep the server alive.
Right. So basically right now you've got the situation where they might have their server up sooner than you guys, like you guys said, because you gotta check all the hardware, you gotta make sure everything's gonna work.
We're just waiting for the servers to be delivered, actually, and we will be up shortly after that.
Okay, so within a few days, or a couple days maybe.
That's all right.
Hopefully, yeah, hopefully between, could be anything between 12 to a couple of days, 12 hours to a couple of days.
Right.
I threw up on the Twitter, it was 24 to 48 hours roughly, but please don't hold us to that. It just depends on circumstances that aren't entirely in our control.
Right. So, I think one thing, and I haven't heard anybody talk about this yet, but Elysium is open source, right? I mean, Elysium went open source a few months back. Just everything's out there in the open. So, is there going to be a difference in the scripting and the code of Light's Hope and Elysium? I guess it's going to be the exact same right now, but going forward, how's it going to be different, or is it not going to be different? Because the intention of both servers is to make a mostly Blizz-like experience for vanilla experience. So,
as far as I know, from what I can see in the temporary Light's Hope staff Discord, we have actually, I can see that a majority of the developers have joined us. All of the good ones have joined us. I think going forward, we're gonna probably try as hard as we can to ensure that the quality of the server is even better than what most people could have hoped for.
And just to clarify that if someone does decide to stay with the Elysium project, that is a choice that they are welcome to make, and we are not going to hold anyone
no grudges or anything.
Accountable or grudge or none of that. That's not what we're about. That's not what we're focused on. We really do not care who's involved with them at this point, because we're a completely separate entity at this point.
Right.
And we are going to be carrying over you mentioned about open source. We are carrying that over. We're going to maintain being open source as we do. So we're going to have a GitHub hosted up soon with all the commit history. We were trying to get the issues copied over so that all the issues that were reported with the existing core can be moved and addressed as we're going forward. We'll be reorganizing a little bit on that part too, to try to make sure that we can get a sensible way for people to still continue to report issues and make sure that they get addressed or looked at, or even at least tagged in some way, because we don't want stuff to be sitting out there ignored for a long period of time. And that's just a matter of resources too, making sure we get the resources allocated for that if we can.
Right. So where are the servers going to be hosted, or where's the server going to be hosted?
OVH.
It's going to be the same hosting provider. So it's for basically what we're aiming for is a 1-to-1 relaunch. I'm still getting a lot of PMs by people asking about their characters and tunes. I can only speak for Light's Hope that your characters will be there's gonna be a maximum of 1 hour rollback as from when the servers shut down. All of your characters are intact. All of your account data is intact. We're planning on doing a complete 1-to-1 relaunch, and as soon as possible.
Right. So how are you guys going to be accepting money for the server, accepting funds, donations? Because I think really that's another big issue that stemmed from Elysium is needing money, needing resources in order to pay for a server and all this stuff, and not having a set way of getting it other than donations, which were kind of pretty much under the table. They weren't out in the open, which I understand why, but at the same time that leads to potential corruption.
Right.
But yeah, so what's your guys' plan for that?
We were trying for a long time to get some more transparency in Elysium when it was up, but I quickly realized that was not going to happen. Going forward, we're going to try to be as transparent as possible. We're going to put checks in place to make sure that this type of corruption can never happen again. We're going to have multiple people with access to real-time logs so that they cannot be manipulated.
And something I wanted to stress on that too, actually, on that point, because it's a really good point. A lot of people have been asking, hey, how did you guys not know this? How did this go under the radar for so long? How long is this going on? Regardless of the time length, or the how, or specifically the how I want to address, is because we were actively prevented from looking at that kind of thing. The logs that I'm not sure if Whitekidney was able to post them or not yet, but the logs are actively being redacted from or with the information that would implicate Krog in doing this kind of thing taken out, so that he couldn't be caught doing the character copying and that kind of thing too. So
Right.
us not having real-time access to that was a result of those kinds of actions, where we can't see them because we're getting basically a redacted copy of it after all the doctoring has been done.
Right.
What I can say is that this has been going on for quite some time. Me personally, I have known for a little while. I've been basically ensuring that I have proof of this happening in case that they would deny it, and we would basically have a Vitally version 2. I was trying to avoid that at any cost. That's a part of the reason why the servers are down right now, because we didn't want them to basically, shrug it off and continue on with their corruption in any way. We basically wanted to reach as many players as possible with our message. It is true that Kroggy was actively editing logs. He was removing stuff from the transaction logs so that the GMs could not do their jobs properly, investigating characters, gold being sold. Fortunately, I did at some point set up full SQL database transaction logs, so I was able to keep track of what was being removed and what was not being removed. We do have full logs of any character that was being created. And eventually, the lead GM and the lead dev found out this on their own, because the logs were simply not being removed properly, at least. I know Kroggy tried to delete all the logs. At some point, maybe he even stopped caring, but you would have player dumps. Basically, to create any character, he would dump a player, and that's also some of the proof that you're seeing in the screenshots. It's him explaining to me how he went on about manipulating the dumped characters, changing their names, removing their friends, deleting any pets, deleting any whispers. He was basically making the character look super legit and stuff like that. At some point, he actually duped 1 or 2 rank 14s, and that's when people started realizing how something's going on here. I don't know if that was just him being lazy, but he fucked up quite a few times, and people knew that something fishy was going on.
Right. So I think what a lot of people
do you
wanna
have
know...
the screenshots, by the way?
I don't think so. They might have been sent to me at some point.
Do you want to like show them or look at them?
I mean, yeah, that's fine.
Let me grab you a copy.
But I think a lot of people are wondering about Light's Hope specifically now, about how they plan to do some things that, just the way they want to handle some things that versus how Elysium handled them, such as
definitely.
some of the gold farming spots being nerfed. I don't know. Is there any plans to keep those spots nerfed, such as like diamond farming for?
So let me open up this multiple page document. We didn't actually post everything that we had up and ready yet today. We wanted to get the initial announcement out there and just explain what was going on so that people kind of had a grasp what was going on. But we have a secondary announcement to follow up this that will address what we're planning on doing going forward, how we're going to differentiate ourselves from past actions, and kind of what our philosophy is and how we want to take care of things. So to talk about kind of the initial first steps that we're going to change, we are fully intending to address the PayPal issue. We're fully intending to make donations transparent to the best of our ability. So we've got a setup for that. We will be giving everyone links to that so that they could, if they choose to donate, they're more than welcome to. We're not going to be holding anything hostage to donations, but we want people to understand that the initial startup cost has been fronted by a member of our team. That we're really, really thankful for them doing that, but they will be initially paid to help us get kicked off. But after that, it's going to be strictly the donations are going to be dictating what kind of hardware we're running on. So just sorry for that. Just to make that absolutely 100% clear, the initial fronting of the server costs was handled by a member of our team, and the initial donation run are going to go to pay them for that, and then everything after that is going to be donation based. But we're definitely going to be making sure that we're showing what the donations are, so that people can see, one, hey, their donation was accounted for, but two, so that people know where the donations are going. We're going to be explaining what the costs are, and we're also going to be making sure that we don't incur too much on hand. So after a certain point, we're just going to say, okay, we're done. We're accepting anything for a while. Turn that off, and then sit on it for as long as necessary until we're ready for another wave to go through.
Right. So is are there any plans? A lot of people are asking this question. Are there any plans to move Light's Hope to Burning Crusade eventually, like Elysium had planned to do?
Yes, that is still on board. Talking with I always say Staden or Staden, and I've never been correct. I don't really care. His intent is to continue on with that project that's going forward. Staden, the lead developer from the Elysium project prior to, is coming with us, and he's going to be leading our operations there. So Burning Crusade still on our timeline. We're still expecting to have that at some point. We're not quite sure when. I can't really give a solid timeline because we're trying to get everything organized right now. There's a lot going on, but we definitely want to deliver that.
Right. So
because we know people are asking for it.
So Staden is coming with you guys.
Yes. In fact, most of the development team has elected to join us. We're still waiting on some of the feedback from them, but we've gotten, for example, let's see here. We got the Parker, Battaglia.
I think as much as 80% of the existing Elysium staff are joining us, as far as I can.
Yeah, if you've seen their names on GitHub, they are most likely have already elected to join us.
So, okay. Slade is asking if you could address what this will do to the already declining population of Anathema, and what do you guys have planned for if and when the server pop drops more?
I don't know.
I think
Go ahead.
Statistically, Anathema was actually gaining population there for a bit. That's the same for Darrowshire. It is not decided yet, and we're not going to go into too much detail, but it was previously discussed that we should or would eventually merge Elysium and Anathema. Now, EBC, I think it's fair to say that this has certainly given us a bit of a blowback when it comes to our TBC plans. So we're going to have a chat and reevaluate what our plans will be going forward. But that is one of the ideas that we're thinking of. As far as Darrowshire, it is a PvE realm, and we do have a lot of honest PvE players.
That's always been something that's always been a bit of a conflict, because we've had there's two camps to this. You have one camp that said, oh hey, the only reason that we rolled on Nostalria's PvE is because Nostalria's PvP was overcrowded as hell. And then you have the faction of people that said, we want to play on a PvE server, we do not want to play on a PvP server. So you have to be able to cater to both, because if you make one decision against the other, you're pissing off a statistically significant portion of your population.
Right. So,
and just to answer the question in chat real quick, because Andreas dropped €5 to answer that. Anything that Ash has stated has nothing to do with Light's Hope. No one speaks for Light's Hope except for our Twitter, myself and Whitekidney here, and our Discord. Also, the information that's posted on lightshope.org. Those are the only places you will find information that we are publishing about the project. So if you hear about it anywhere else, it's not true.
Right.
Or not related to us in any way.
So Anthony Fawcett was asking if it's easier to say who hasn't joined the project Lights Hope than who has.
Probably.
And do you want to? You don't want to? I guess.
Like I said earlier, it's not my place to try to talk down on the people that are electing to stay. It's not my business, and we honestly don't care. And I'm not trying to be flippant about it. It's just it doesn't impact us one way or the other. We're going. The whole reason we did this is because the project is supposed to be beholden to the community. It's not to line someone's individual pockets. It's not to help someone when they're in a time of need. It's not to, give someone a side job that they can be used to pay off their own little debts or things like that. This is about the community. This is about legacy servers, and that is the only intent that we have ever been trying to push since day one. So the moment we found out that was violated, we decided we were finished. We don't want to have anything to do with a project that is motivated by those kind of ambitions. And to be honest, I think the community seems like they're appreciating that. And I'm hoping that the community as a whole understands that's our intent from the very moment we embarked on this journey with Lights Hope, is that we everything we're doing, we're trying to do for the community. So we hope that you keep working with us and understand that it takes time to get things going, and there's going to be some growing pains. We don't have the benefit of an existing infrastructure that it crashed every day, but we're getting there. We're trying.
All right. So was there any evidence, I guess, of people buying loot, guilds buying loot to drop or anything like that? I know that's something that's been a topic of discussion for a long time, and I don't think that came out specifically in anything recently, but it's something that people have been asking a lot of. Was there any evidence of that, or no, not really?
But basically, the GM team has been actively suppressed in their ability to investigate this, because I haven't been able to share any logs with them, so they have basically been unable to do their jobs properly. What I can say going forward is that there's going to be a lot more transparency between the what you might call the sysadmins and the logs and the GM team, so they can properly do their job without being limited in any way.
To directly answer the question, because I'm sure someone's going to be sitting there going, they dodged the question. As far as we can tell, there has been no evidence of any particular guild or particular group or players having submitted either a donation or a direct payment to someone on staff in order to get loot to drop or to be given loot. There's a common misconception about the core that the GMs can just manipulate the loot on a drop. For a raid boss, just think that's not true. It's not how the core works. You can't just manipulate the drop on the fly without doing it for everyone. So if someone was given a 100% chance to pick up the prereq for Thunder Fury, so was everyone else. So, and I think it would be pretty obvious really quickly when every single guild suddenly in one day got all the stuff for Thunder Fury. But for specifically of people getting items like epics or legendaries or stuff like that, I have not seen any evidence of that happening.
Right.
What I can say is that I have actively been making copies of both the GM logs and the database logs and stuff like that, and they all will be thoroughly reviewed before we go live. We're going to spend a significant amount of time reviewing all the logs and making sure that any added gold or characters are deleted. We actually do have a very nice list of characters that was added to the servers, because they forgot to wipe the logs properly.
So you have a list of all the fake characters, all the not fake, but it's like spawned.
Yeah, if you want, we can. We could do some naming and shaming if that's what people want, but we do have a complete list. Yeah, I can promise you that. I can even show you. They will be deleted from the database.
Just as a front note, I honestly would probably err on the side of not, because just like blowing the lid on what Krog and Shenna had done invites people to start doing some really nasty, and pardon my French, shit on to target them or to target staff of either project. I don't want to encourage that, because as I said in the initial announcement, we're moving on. we're going to clean up the mess that we can to the best of our ability, and then we're going to be done with it. And I'd rather not incite any witch hunts. I'd rather not incite anyone to take action supposedly on our behalf, because that we don't support that kind of thing. That's not the kind of project we are. That's not the kind of group we are. None of this was done for vindictive or personal reasons or to get revenge. We're doing this for community. We're doing this because it's the right thing to do.
Right. So, will Lights Hope ever have a fresh server, or is this going to be just a continuation of Elysium?
I think we'll have to wait and see what people want. It should, like, we're aiming to be a community-driven project, and in the end, we were hoping that, you know, we get to follow what the majority of the player base wants. If they do want a fresh launch, then we might give it to them. But I think initially we're gonna start off and we're gonna get back on our feet. We're gonna get the servers back up, and then we will certainly reevaluate our options.
Right. I think from my opinion, you know, just a third-party perspective, I guess, I think just seeing what happened with Anathema, or what was Nost at the time, where so many people left that and just wanted to start fresh on Elysium, and all the new players coming to the server wanted to go to the more fresh server in order to not be as far behind whenever they were starting to play the game. I think that makes a really big impact on the server that already exists. So that's my opinion on fresh servers being created. I guess that you could end up seeing a pretty big potential drop in population on the.
And we agree with that too, because that was the major complaint to people talking about Anathema and Darrowshire, was that hey, you're killing the old servers with the new one. Why would we go out of our way to immediately start off on that kind of foot? That basically that shows that we haven't learned anything. That's not to say that down the road we won't consider that as an option if it's needed. If, like, for example, the realms are on the verge of being merged together, then of course we would consider doing a fresh start realm for the people that want that kind of audience. That would definitely be on the table. But there's no reason to open off the whole project with saying, here's a fresh start server free from all the potential manipulation of items and loot and gold and stuff. Because I'm sure people want that, but do we really want to shoot the rest of the servers in the face?
Right. Okay, so people are also asking, so how soon after the server was open did gold selling and account selling, character selling start to begin? Do you guys have any record of that, or? I guess before what came out with Shenna in February.
I know for a fact it's been going on for 6 to 9, 8 months.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, I don't know, might even date further back than that. I actually have no clue.
Okay.
I'd also like to highlight real quick, and I don't know if Darker asked for anyone that works with the CF team is listening in. Darker just posted a blog on the Crestfall forum, since that is up right now. I'm going to read it myself, but I encourage everyone to go read it as well. And just to answer that question, as of right now, we have no association with Crestfall. I'm sure the conversation might come up, and I'm sure we might talk to them about it, and I might read this post and see that they actually want nothing to do with this. I don't know yet. But as of right now, there is no affiliation or standing with Crestfall at this time.
Okay. And another question that came up is, and I asked this to, we asked this earlier to Ash, but of course he's not involved in Lights Hope. How will our account info change? Will we be able to log in straight, or will we have to re-register and claim an account? How's that going to work?
Initially, I think initially you'll be allowed to just log in as if nothing happened. In the long term, we will be forcing password resets and 2 FA resets for everyone that has it active. The passwords are stored in a safe way with SRP6. So getting the any type of plaintext passwords out of that is going to be quite hard. So as of now, your account data should be safe, but long term we will be doing resets of passwords and 2FA. We might even do some email type of reset, but we don't know yet. We still have to iron out the finer details.
Is Patu going to be joining Lights Hope?
Yes.
Okay.
Padu is on board, yeah.
Yeah.
I know
Patu-
there's been some controversy around him as of late, but all the everything will be addressed at some point.
And actually, I think this might be a good time to talk about that because I'm sure some people are immediately just went, "Oh shit, here we go again." You know, nothing's changed already. One of the things that I'm going to be actively encouraging on the team is evaluating everything that we do, not just, and this is not limited to one single team or you know, any individual at all. This is everyone. Pretty much everything is on the table for what we can either take and improve upon, get rid of, or introduce. I think we just lost Whitekidney. He might be getting DDoSed again. I'm not sure. But anything is on the table for how we do things and how we can change it. One of the things that we're going to be pushing now that we have the stronger capability of getting logs more consistently in the hands of both the lead GMs, but also empowered staff that will be used to review those. We want to avoid those kind of situations again that caused the issue with Patu over the weekend. I was being intentionally vague on the whole issue because I knew this was kind of coming along, but I do want to address that right off the gate. Right out of the gate is that yes, we understand that was it was frustrating and it sucks. I hated it. And no one should have had to deal with that. Let me re-add Whitekidney real quick because he actually left the chat.
So basically, what precautions are going to be taken in order to prevent any sort of corruption or anything going forward?
Actually, that gives me a good chance to read from our announcement post on it.
Sorry, can you please repeat that? I just
the question was so like, what are we going to be doing going forward to help avoid abuses of power? And just for the record, Patu absolutely did not abuse any of his powers. Yes, he may have been a little silly with some RP emotes with some raid bosses. He didn't do anything wrong. It was just an extremely unfortunate situation that hopefully going forward we can avoid, just because we want to differentiate ourselves from the past that we're moving on from, and whatever it takes, we're perfectly willing to hear suggestions from people. Like we're not perfect. I know I'm not fucking perfect, and neither is Whitekidney, neither is anyone on the staff, but we're always wanting to improve. But to talk about the first things we're going to be doing is that the log access is going to be completely live, so it's going to be not public, and there's some reasons for that we can go into later. But we're going to be making sure that all logs, instead of it being like a daily, weekly thing, it's going to be a consistent, up-to-date system that can be referenced by multiple staff members. Every single lead is going to have access to that. We'll also probably have a higher tier or two GM also have access to that, so they can review those logs. And we'll be treating anything that impairs access to those logs with suspicion, because obviously, even if you take every single precaution, there's always the risk of potentially someone deciding to do everything they can to try to hide something. And I'm going to be honest with that. There always is a risk. It doesn't matter how perfect you think the system is. There's always some kind of chance that someone might decide, you know what, I'm going to try to screw with this. But
Right.
We're going to be making sure that enough people have access to those logs and make sure those logs are in real time. And then we're going to have people reviewing them consistently, just to see if there's any oddities, that kind of thing.
Right.
Both on just the GM client and the server side.
So there's
it's not
basically
just-
going to be so many things out there. Like such a high level of transparency on all levels, to where if anything weird or shady was going on, it would be caught like almost immediately.
A lot of people would see it at the same time. Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely, yeah. To reiterate on some of the technical stuff that we're planning on doing, and we were planning to do an Elysium for a long time, but we were halted for obvious reasons. We are planning on implementing a log server of sorts, where GM logs, command logs, any database logs is streamed to in real time, and it's not too easy to manipulate data in real time. So essentially, everyone with access to that said log servers will be able to view any of the GM logs, database logs in real time as they come in. We're also going to be making sure that multiple people have access to the underlying systems. I know in the past people have saying, about their Australian sysadmin, why we haven't given him access. We can't just trust anyone that comes in with access to the database. However, I have for a long time trusted Saf or Tekis, and he will now be joining us going forward, and he will be having more access than he basically had no access for. But we will be making sure that enough people have access to these systems so that they will be able to identify if something weird is going on, if something is being manipulated and stuff like that. We're going to try to implement as many checks as possible to prevent any of this corruption or any shady stuff from ever happening again.
Right. So one thing that keeps coming up, and I know Slade has mentioned this in the chat a few times, and it's regarding account security again. And I'm assuming there's nothing that can be done, but is there anything that can be done about, let's say Slade here chooses to go to play on Light's Hope? Well, his account and his character on Elysium and all that stuff still exists. So now he's got 2 accounts, two sets of everything, 2 passwords, everything's the same, right? Is there anything that he can do in order to essentially get rid of that account, get rid of that password, get rid of that thing altogether, or is there anything you guys can do? Probably not anything you guys could do because you guys wouldn't have access to that stuff at that point. But
as far as whatever data Elysium might have at this point, I am very confident that they have some old backups. I don't know how old they might be. They might be 6 weeks old. They might be 3 months old. I have no idea. My suggestion to you is to contact them and ask them nicely to delete that data. I think going forward we might support something like that where we can delete data on request. We will have to discuss that if that's something we want to do. Yeah, and I think we should honor people's privacy. One thing that we made sure that we did is to delete any chat logs. We completely wiped the servers, and we've been talking about this for a long time. Leaving the data in the hands of what might potentially be very bad people. You have in the account database, you have email addresses, you have IPs, you have usernames. The passwords are not stored in plain text, so they cannot see your password. But chat logs are stored, and on Elysium, I emptied out, I think, nearly 100 gigabytes of chat logs from the database before I wiped the servers. So we completely value the privacy of our player base, and that is one of the reasons why we chose to wipe the servers completely instead of leaving a copy of the character data and the account data, so that they might carry on and
Right.
So going forward we might get some character or account deleting thing up and going, but we're going to have to discuss that further.
Right.
Yeah, we tried to take every precaution that we possibly could to ensure that people's data wasn't misused in any way, but there's only so much we can do. That was one of the primary reasons why we even decided to wipe the data on the way out. It's because we absolutely cared about the safety and the privacy of the players that were in any of the existing backups or on the live servers themselves or on the Elysium project, just because of the fear that they may potentially be misused, and not regardless to say whether or not that it was founded, to me is irrelevant. The fact that it may have even been an option absolutely was the defining factor that made us go that route.
Right. So quite a few people are asking is if and I know I touched on this earlier, but if you guys could clarify or restate, what are your plans for the gold farming nerfs that Elysium had put in place? Are you guys going to keep those? Are you guys going to revert those? A lot of people have been asking me that, and another thing that is being asked by Slade. Actually, I'll go ahead and let you answer that real quick before I go on to the next one.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think I'm behind some of the nerfs that went down the DM North dog farming. Basically, just to explain some of the reasons behind that is that when we're basically sitting on all the loot data, all the trade data, all the specifics on what goes around with these types of farming. When you see a specific way of farming being utilized by mages, for example, when you're seeing people level up their own alts just to farm that one specific thing, and we did have the data to back it up that this specific way of farming was kind of overpowered, if you will, and we made the decision at that time to nerf it temporarily, because we had a massive investigation going into RMT gold selling rings, which we found out in the end we were basically pissing in the wind, but those people that weren't buying from Kragi or Shenna or Kragi were basically farming this one and only way to get gold, and it was, we didn't want to hurt the casual player, but we had 40 to 50 to 60 mages actively botting and teleport hacking and exploiting this specific way of farming because that was the go-to way of getting gold, basically. I think long-term, we should have probably been more involved with the community on how to fix these issues.
Right.
And I think going forward as well, we're going to be a whole lot community-driven, basically, to seek community opinion before we make any larger changes to the game. But
and that's something too. That basically anything and everything is on the table for review at this time. So we're actually actively looking into what changes have been made and see if we can correlate what they were, and then also making sure that we have that documented so that we can go, okay, here's what it should have been, here's what we have, why is that, and then being able to demonstrate to the community what that reason is and give our reasoning for whether or not we changed it back or whether or not we kept it the way it is.
Right. So one of the questions, this is what Slade keeps asking me, are you guys accepting any donations up front right now, like big donations up front to help pay for the startup cost or whatever, before you guys open up, like, for a round of donations or whatever?
Right. I don't think we were quite prepared for people to throw money at us. We basically wanted to show people that, we wanted to get back on our feet. We wanted to.
You guys are legit, basically.
Promote our project as the most transparent project, the best project for the community, and that we're going to do our best job to stay a community-driven project with as much transparency as possible. We got together like not even 2 weeks ago and started planning this out. So we were, we don't, we barely have our pants on. We're trying to catch up with everything. It's gonna take a little while to get back up on our feet. But yeah, of course, any donation is welcome at this point. As I said, I think the initial monthly cost of having the servers up is going to be at least around the €500 mark. I think that's the cheapest we can keep it as well, because we have discussed quite thoroughly about the hardware requirements for Elysium. We cannot move it to a cheaper server. It certainly needs the amount of cores that it currently has.
Right.
We could do some experimenting with a less powerful server, but that's not going to work because it's already quite overpopulated, and we're already struggling enough as it is. So I don't think we can downscale that specific server. But we did previously move Anathema and Darshire to the new hardware, which is basically a cheaper server, and that's where we're gonna continue on. That we're gonna get the cheaper server. We're not gonna sacrifice stability or performance, but the current server that Darshire or the previous server that Darshire and Elysium was running on, Anathema, was kind of oversized for its use.
Right.
So we're gonna try and keep everything as cheap as possible, but we really don't want to impact on performance or stability.
So is there a chance that the lag on Elysium, or what was Elysium, isn't going to get any better, or?
It probably is going to be roughly the same to start with, just because the lag, the hardware was never going to solve that problem. There's an inherent issue with the core programming of the server that causes that issue that hopefully our devs can put a lot of attention to starting off, so we can get that fixed. Throwing heavier and bigger and better hardware at it is just a temporary solution, if at that. And I honestly questioned whether or not that was going to make any dent in the whole deal anyway. So to me, it was more of just another thing to throw money at needlessly.
Right. So.
Yeah, it's a technical issue that has to be resolved in the core. There has to be some significant rewriting to the threading system. It's quite an old core. Mango's dates back many years, and we've been kind of polishing a turd, if you will,
right
over the past couple of years.
I totally understand.
Yeah.
'Cause the thing is, and I think a lot of people, I don't mean to cut you off, but I think for a lot of people, at the end of the day, that's the thing they care about the most is the server going to be laggy. At the end of the day, more than any of the corruption, any of the drama, any of all that stuff. I think the number one biggest issue for everybody out of stuff that was coming out of Elysium recently is, why is the server so laggy? Like, I know personally, like for my guild, like we had times where like we've wiped on bosses, or like, okay, well, we gotta come try it again tomorrow because it was too laggy, and we were wiping because we couldn't successfully do a certain mechanic on a certain boss. And I think, and in PvP there's a whole other issue. PvP is so, you've got these razor thin margins in PvP where you're constantly trying to do one thing or another, and a little bit of lag can totally screw that up at the wrong time.
Yeah. Now, we do have limited resources. Previously we have been trying to find the perfect sweet spot, if you will, between actively developing the server, that is, the new content, max AQ, when we release that. So we're basically trying to find a sweet spot between actively developing and fixing new content and releasing it so that the server doesn't eventually die out because no new content is released, and fixing it. What I can say is that it's no easy task just snapping your fingers and fixing the lag. It's gonna require significant rewriting of the core and the threading system as it is today. I think perhaps one of the developers should go more into detail on that and just tell everybody how it is. But we were, for example, for TBC, we were toying with some of the ideas of having 2 realms up that you could freely transfer between, and eventually we would merge it if we could perhaps fix the issues.
Right.
We're thinking about a lot of temporary solutions to the problem, but to be honest, it's not a real easy fix. We could throw more expensive hardware at it, but that will cost a significant more money. We're already spending 300 euros a month just on Elysium alone. And anyone can go to ovh.com and see their servers right there. The current server that Elysium we're running on is a MG256, which it starts at 299 euros a month. So yeah, we're gonna. I think it's a very high priority issue in our team right now to try and resolve the lag. But to be honest, it's not an easy fix. But we will be investing a lot of time into.
I'm getting pinged by a lot of people that are asking, "Hey, where's a donation link? Hey, where's a donation link?"
Yeah, I was about to say.
We will publish that shortly. We just have to get a couple things set up to make sure everything's set up okay and properly. If you want to donate, that will be made available. It's coming.
Right. So, are you guys okay? This is a good one. Are you guys afraid of? Maybe not afraid. I think afraid is a bad word they're using, but is there any concern or any thought being put into the Ares Burning Crusade server being opened up? I think in about 5 days, versus Light's Hope, or I guess Elysium as well. But for you guys, Light's Hope. Has there been?
Well, I think the private server scene is one big happy family. I think we're better off working together, if you will. I wish
agree,
Twin
I
Star
agree.
the best of luck in their launch. I wish they get a lot of players. I know I was actually involved back when I was working for Twin Star or Kronos. I was a GM there for a while, in discussing the details around relaunching Ares. And one of the arguments that was thrown around is that they should relaunch as soon as possible to cap a lot of the players out of the looking for group disaster and the other project that Mr. Liefeld, they play TBC and stuff like that. But they actually chose to spend a lot of time in actually reworking and actually fixing the server, and I applaud them for that. It might have cost them a lot of active players. We don't know that yet, but I think Ares might be a great server once it comes out. I wish them the best of luck, of course, on their launch. Yeah, I don't know. As Phoosy said, we're not going to try to convince people to play on our server. We want the community to choose for themselves where they want to play. We're just another project. We try to do our best, and we have certainly learned from
whether it's the Twin Star or all of us are wanting to provide some kind of service to players so that they can enjoy legacy content. That's ultimately what matters at the crux of everything. Yeah, someone might say that one project is in it for money, or someone might say, oh, one project is just in it for tax breaks or whatever. The point being is we're all trying to offer an experience that's no longer available, and that's to us what really matters. We could give two shits about anything else beyond that.
Right. Are you guys having a open application or anything for players to apply to be a GM or a community staff member, or is it going to be pretty closed off right now given the volatility?
Yeah, given how crazy things are, and this is actually a kind of something that we're gonna go do different going forward, is that one of the big things that caused a lot of the problems early on for the Elysium project was that the staff was rapidly expanded after it launched to meet the needs, and it was expanded again once the allegations of corruption, that kind of thing, started coming out, and some of the former NOS staff started leaving en masse for whatever reasons they had, regardless of what the reasons were. But that was something that one of the big things that contributed to a lot of these issues was that they were really quick to get staff in without a whole lot of checking and going into getting people involved. Funny enough, that is the reason why I'm actually involved with this project now, is because I was brought in as a sysadmin. Shout out to anyone that hung out in the voice chats back in February, March, April, where I originally was brought in as sysadmin, and just like Takaz, I didn't really have any access at all until I ended up joining the GM team, which is where most people know me from. So that just kind of shows.
It's kind of funny how it goes, yeah.
Yeah, there needs to be a process in place. So right now, no, we're going to keep it closed for the time being. Focus on getting our infrastructure set up and going, and then once we're kind of ready to go, we'll start bringing people in.
Right.
Also, I saw some guys asking. We are going to continue on the open source path. We believe that's the best way to go around with things. By doing that, we're not just developing an active server, but we're also giving back to the community, and we are going to continue down that path.
Right.
Definitely. That's one of the core values that we have too, is that we want to keep things open source. We want to keep the good vibes going, of everyone can see what's being pushed in, let people give feedback either on GitHub or on the forums, Reddit, whatever. We want to keep that going, because that to us, that's really important, is that the community needs to be number one.
Right.
Hey, Esfand, are you gonna ask me about my gold selling?
I was wondering if that was
come
gonna
up a few times. It's come up a few times.
Yeah.
Do you wanna address that?
I see people bringing up 7-year-old posts about me on OwnCore and stuff like that. Like many other people here, I was playing WoW a lot back in the day. I'm a huge WoW fan. I eventually stopped playing it actively, during something in like Wrath of the Lich King or something like that. But way back when I was a student, I had access to hardware servers and stuff like that. Botting on retail and private servers and selling that gold, it was quite nice side cash for a student. But today, you see a lot of Chinese people selling gold. There's no way anyone could make a living selling gold unless you're living in countries where stuff is cheap.
Right.
Way back when I did it, it was really easy side cash as a student. I don't think you'll find a single case of me abusing my admin rights or any access that has been trusted upon me. I think if you even approach Twinstar, Kronos, and ask them when I was a GM there if I ever abused my GM rights or access to the logs, they will say the same thing. And even Kragi and Shenna, they even admitted I had no involvement in whatever they were doing.
And that's something too I want to stress as well. I'm not just standing by Whitekidney because we're in a voice chat and he knows a lot of personal information about me. I'm standing by him because he came to us and blew this all open, because he cared. To me, someone that wants to bring this kind of attention to light, regardless if it may have taken time, to me, that shows that they have the best intentions in mind for the people that are most impacted by it. And that, honestly, even with all the stuff that people have said about him, as long as we have the stuff in place to demonstrate that we're taking great pains to prevent this stuff from happening again, that's the most anyone can ask for.
Right.
And honestly, I would rather have someone like Whitekidney on the team who's familiar with this sort of thing than someone who doesn't have a single clue about the scene or about what people are doing.
I think if you ask Padu, if you ask Valinor, the lead GM, if you ask any staff member that has been involved in RMT, I think they will all confirm that I've been a heavy player or that's been involved in catching these type of people exploiting and botting. I think even Kragi is willing to admit that I'm really good at doing that. And yeah, I've been doing significant work analyzing the logs, working on the mass data and stuff like that. I absolutely love doing that type of thing. But yeah, I also spent a whole lot of time basically proving my innocence in all of this. That was something that was really important to me. Basically, proving to not just the public, but the initial staff, the group of 9 people that I presented the proof to, that's been posted. I sent it to you, Esfand. I don't know if you saw it yet. It's being spread around. I'm sure people will eventually find it. But yeah, there's that. I have never misused any of my access on my server. Any access or trust that's been given to me.
Right. No, okay. So, I guess do you guys have any final thoughts or anything? I think this whole day has been pretty crazy for everybody. I know you guys have got to, or at least you got to go to bed soon. Whitekidney. Any last words? Any final thoughts? Anything like that before we go ahead and let you guys off?
Well, we love the players. We love the community. We love the staff. We love all of the players that are investing a lot of time into their characters. Just playing on the server. It brings me and it brings the staff, huge joy and happiness to see everyone having a good time, and and the staff as well that are investing numerous of hours into the project. Yeah, me personally, it brings me joy to see stuff like this happening, and it's been really disheartening for me, knowing that this has been going on for a while. That is one of the reasons why I haven't been as involved in the project as I should be. But I think going forward, Light's Hope is going to be a very good project for the community.
Just as a quick side note too, because some people have brought it to my attention, there is only 3 places after this moment that you can officially get any info about Light's Hope. Our Twitter, which is at Light's Hope Wow. The Discord, which I think you have a link, Esfand, if you want to drop that in chat or something, it's up to you. But I posted it on our announcements and our Twitter as well. And our website, which is lightshope.org. The subreddit actually has been around for 17 days. That's not indicative of how long we've known this. The subreddit was actually created by someone else who happened to have registered it well before we even knew that this was going to be a thing. They used it as a CSS dump to test out CSS for their own thing, and they happen to play Retail WoW. So if they ever happen to hear this, I really do appreciate them giving the subreddit over and letting us use it, because we were kind of attached to the name once we had picked it out. It was just pure coincidence that they happened to have that registered, and they were just using it for, it was a CSGO subreddit they were testing out. If they ever want me to do a shout out for that, I'll probably contact them and link that, just because they were super nice and gave us the subreddit name. But it's, the subreddit title is just Light's Hope. That's it. There's no Light's Hope WoW, Light's Hope project. It's just Light's Hope. If you see any other subreddits with that name, with a similar name, it's not us.
Just Light's Hope. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks for joining me, guys. I think Ash, I think you guys being here, I think you guys answered a lot of questions for the community, and a lot of questions I had as well. I mean, I just hope this whole thing gets sorted out, and to be honest, from my perspective, the whole thing is pretty unfortunate. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is that we'll all get to play vanilla WoW. I mean, I think that's what we all want at the end of the day.
Oh, exactly. So, definitely. That's all we want too. That's all. Vanilla, TBC, whatever. We're majorly concerned about is deliver that. So we're going to do the best as we can to make sure that people can have that kind of experience, because that's what brought World of Warcraft the popularity that it has now. The notoriety, the worldwide recognition is because of the older expansions and the content that was delivered there. So that's all we're concerned with.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Right. Yeah, just to confirm one last thing. There will be essentially no rollback, maybe 40 minutes to 1 hour prior to the server shutting down. But when the time comes, when the servers are ready, you will just be able to change your realm lists to our server. You don't have to re-download anything, and you will be able to continue your gameplay as if nothing happened.
Right. Well, yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll let you guys go. Here's a couple Red Bulls for you guys. Thanks for joining me. You guys might want to.
Thank you.
You guys might want to enjoy those cold ones. Cold ones on me.
I think I'm going to grab one myself, really.
Thank you for having us.
And just anyone that happens to be listening at the end of this too, we'll be answering questions in Discord and Twitter over the next day or two as well. Keep looking on our Twitter, look on our Discord announcements. We got a subreddit up. We'll be posting it up there once that's all ready to go as well. So just stay tuned, and we're waiting for feedback when we open up those channels, and we're really excited to do this right, to do it the way that it meant to be done from the beginning.
Right. And I went ahead and posted that Discord link in the chat. Those of you guys who, before it gets buried in there, that Discord link is in the chat as well for you guys. So.
Cheers, mate.
All right.
Thank you for having us.
Reddit and bless.
See you guys later. We'll see you guys later.
Have a good one, dude. See you, man.